Let me tell you a quick story about a business owner called Mike. Mike's roofing business was started by his father, and he'd worked in it most of his life. It had always provided a good living, but recently it seemed like there was more competition. He had heard stories about the poor standards of the newcomers, but they still seemed to get customers, while he was struggling. Mike's marketing costs an arm and a leg. Some of it works, and some of it doesn't. Mike tried discounting, but didn't get much more business, and profits nosedived. While his new website looked great, but it didn't seem to generate more calls than the old one. Word of mouth was what had always worked best for him. Then something happened that changed things forever. Mike heard a story about a jewellery shop owner, Amy, with some earrings that wouldn't sell. So Amy slashed the price just before she went on a buying trip. When she called her assistant a couple of days later, none of them had sold. She said double the discount, but the phone line was bad and the assistant doubled the original price instead, even as she wondered about the sanity of her boss. When Amy got back, she went ballistic when she saw the new price, until her assistant told her that that was the last remaining pair. Now the problem for Mike was, when he talked about this to other local business owners, and talked about raising his prices, they all said putting up his prices would never work. In fact, they reckoned he'd lose all his business. So he decided to do what he'd always done, more marketing. He tried a pay-per-click campaign with a 20% discount offer attached to it. Things were about to go from bad to worse. The pay-per-click campaign did produce some leads, but at a huge cost. With the discount, he actually lost a little money, and yet he was working harder than ever. And although he tried to keep it from his family, his wife could tell that something wasn't right. That's when the situation truly hit rock bottom. The absolute worst was when a customer told him he'd recommended him because you're cheap. 17 years in the family firm and he was cheap. Then something happened that changed everything. Mike read in a roofer's forum about some guy who had used the 555 formula to turn a loss-making business into a profitable one. He looked into it. That was a 5% rise in revenue, a 5% decrease in cost of goods, and a 5% decrease in overheads. Mike was surprised that 5% could make such a difference, but thought, well, 5%, I can do that. So in that moment, Mike decided to stop with the marketing until he got his margins sorted out. Here's what happened next. Mike looked at the discount he'd been offering and thought, well, if 20% discount hardly gets me any more business, maybe no one will notice a 7% price rise. Now his was a well-run business, so warranty claims were rare, but he did go back to his suppliers and reduced his cost of goods sold by a little. Then he looked at his overheads and he realised he'd stuck with the same insurers and so on utilities forever, and made a big saving by shopping around. The situation transformed his business because, well, these small changes quickly added up to a raise of 62% for Mike in the first year. And this opened up Mike's mind. He realised that he could use some of this extra money to show people how he was different from the new competition. Here's how things turned out. Mike's got the cash now to offer serious guarantees that make his business stand out. He's positioned himself as the roofer who leaves your yard tidier than when we arrive. He's put in a system to capture the reviews of customers and market them to prospects, which is multiplying his word-of-mouth results. And a few months later, he raised his prices again, and the only prospects he put off were a few complainers, whiners and price shoppers. And the way he tells it, it feels good making more and working less. His dilemma now is whether to expand or spend more time with his family. What I'd like you to take away from this story is, if you charge too little, people class you with the cheapskates. If your gross margin isn't right, marketing brings plenty more work, but precious little profit. Unless you've reviewed your overheads recently, for sure you're paying too much. Transform your business on the inside and then market for explosive growth. Now you can keep doing what you're doing as long as you like, or you can learn more at http://link.localbiz.info/555-formula. I've been Matt Tarrant. Thanks for listening. Bye now.